Today we are halfway through the month, which means it is time to look at what books are coming out next month. The first book that I'm excited for next month is Lady Smoke. Lady Smoke is the sequel to Ash Princess that came out last year that I had an art copy of and that I also received in a Shelf Love crate. And it's a fantastic book. I cannot wait for book 2. It's going to be spectacular. Also on February 5th, The Warrior Maiden is coming out. It's a Mulan retelling, and if you can't tell by the items on my bookshelf, you actually can't see them because Mulan, Mushu, and Cricky are all right up there, barely out of sight. But I love Mulan. It's my favorite Disney movie, and outside of that, I also like a lot of different Mulan retellings that I have read over the years. So I'm very excited for The Warrior Maiden. I think it looks really good. It looks very different from a lot of retellings of Mulan, and I am just very excited for that. Still on February 5th, we have The Antidote. The Antidote is the author's first foray into writing fantasy. She usually writes historical fiction, but The Antidote is a story about a healer who ends up turning to magic to heal her patients instead of just whatever they would consider science at the time in a historical book. Not historical, fantasy book. The cover is gorgeous and it just sounds really interesting. It is a standalone, which is another thing I'm excited about because you guys know me, I love series, but I kind of hate them because I have to wait for book 2. Courting Darkness also comes out on February the 5th. It's one that I have seen so many people talking about. A lot of people that I follow had ARC copies, and a lot of people have said it's really, really good. It's a little bit outside of what I usually read. It's historical fantasy. I don't read that quite as often as I read just regular fantasy, but so many people have recommended it that I really want to give it a try. Moving on to February the 12th, we have Crown of Feathers. Any summary that starts with "in a world of warrior queens" is something I have to read. It sounds spectacular. It's high fantasy. I think it might be a standalone. I am praying it's a standalone. I haven't looked, but the cover is gorgeous. The summary sounds amazing, and I just cannot wait to get to read it. It is the one on this list that I've listed so far that I've definitely got pre-ordered already. Next, also February 12th, Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. It's the next book in the Truth Witch series. I haven't finished the series yet, but I'm far enough into it. Well, I haven't finished what's out of the series yet, but I am far enough into it to be excited for Blood Witch. Moving on to February 19th, we have Tarot, which is a fantasy story in which the world is based on tarot cards. Or tarot cards, however you want to pronounce that. All of the places, all of the characters, all of the locations, the king, the queen, the tower, the cups, the magician, it's all based on the tarot cards, and I just think that sounds like a really interesting fantasy. It is not like anything I have ever read before, and so that's pretty high on my to-read list. Spectacle is one of the few books on this list that is not fantasy, but it's historical fiction, and it's marketed toward people who liked Stalking Jack the Ripper, which I love. It is one of my favorite historical fictions. Spectacle is also a murder mystery. It's historical, like I said, and it just sounds awesome. There is a little bit of fantasy in it also because the main character is having visions from the point of view of the murder victims. Next, we have the highly anticipated Four Dead Queens, which is another one that I've seen a lot of people talking about. I've seen a lot of people who have art copies of it. So that's part of why I'm excited. It's sort of fantasy. There might be a little bit of sci-fi elements to it. I'm not sure, because obviously I haven't read it yet. But it's also a murder mystery, and I love murder mysteries. I really love murder mysteries. True crime or not true crime, I am in. Then we have We Set the Dark on Fire, which comes out February the 26th. According to the summary, it is for fans of The Handmaid's Tale, which is interesting sounding. It's about a girl who's running away from her boarding school because she doesn't want to just be a good wife. Last but not least, we have The Secret of Dinswood, which I do have an art copy of and I'll be posting a review of soon. I love the cover. The cover is spectacular. Love it. So that is my most anticipated books of February 2019. Like I said, I do this about the middle of the month every month. I post what I am most looking forward to next month, just to give you a little heads up. All of the full summaries, titles, author, links to buy, all of that is available in the post on my blog, which I have linked down below if you want to check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.